So the next column is draft. Once you've taken an idea from sort of Sketchbook and Discover, and you know that it's got a bit of life to it, and it's got maybe the two parts, or it's got something more than just that original idea, it's time to start thinking about how you can dig in on the little bit more detail of turning that raw framework into something that's a little bit more of a complete sort of final item. And again, the trick here is to use checklists. This is actually not organised terribly well. I'll see if I can find another one that's a little bit better organised in draft. So this track Oaken D minor 120. Here's all the opposite stuff here. Here are the different versions that I've exported as that particular idea has progressed. So Oaken MP3 would have just been the original file title. Noting here that I didn't put the key and the BPM in it. Whoops, silly me. That must be because this is quite an old idea, 30th of November. In the 30th of November I hadn't realised how helpful it is to actually put the key and the BPM in, so it isn't in this one. It is in subsequent ideas, but not here. But one thing you must really do is make sure that you date all your project files and your exported audio files by the date at which you created them, so that you can keep a sequence, you can keep track of stuff, so that if one session goes completely wrong, you've already saved it as a new file with today's date in it, so that if it's complete rubbish, you can go back easily to your last version. But what is drafting? Okay, drafting really is just listening to the track and then literally putting in the things that really need to be done to it. So here I've got, I've called it Discovery Sessions. It's not, it is draft. But here are the last batch of things that I needed to do. Orchestral section with new chord changes in a new key. I thought that was something that needed to be done. It needed a bleepy double time upper midline. Okay, if you say so. It needed half-time drums, it needed high and long pad sounds. Okay, fine, so I put those down as things I needed to do, did the session, added them in, checked them off, no problem. You can use your due dates again to add another week to go by, but I don't tend to do that once I've moved tracks further across this way of the process, because my kind of backdrop is trying to release 2 tracks a month. So at any given time I want to have a minimum of 2 finished songs right at the end of this. So actually the way I get to those 2 finished songs means I have to have a relatively small number of works in progress in this bit of the process on Trello, because I can't have too many going on, because if I have too many and I'm spending what little time I have in the day or in the week, I probably have like 2 or 3 hours a week to actually do anything other than my morning writing. I just get bogged down in detail of too many ideas, and not enough of them come to the end. So that's basically drafting. It's pretty simple. You just listen back, you put down everything that needs to be done, you do it, you save it with a different date, and you stick the card back in here. Now, one little tip is that if you order your cards by the last thing you did, as soon as you finish something, just put it at the bottom. So if I was to have done a session on this Oaken D minor 120, open it up, think of what I need to do, listen back to it, do the session. Once I've closed the Trello card, I would put it at the bottom like that, so that I know that the next drafting session I'm going to do is going to be this one, which is Joja Kaipu Artificial Soul. Because I just know by looking at it that that's the next one that I need to do, the next one I need to work on. So it's kind of similar idea with these other ones, that once you've done the session, once you've done the work on it, just put it to the bottom of the list, and gradually the next ones just become the ones that are at the top. Pretty logical. Next we'll talk about done.